Hello everyone, it's Professor Stevens and I'm going to work out this problem for us. I have had a couple of requests for it from students, so I figured it'd be the perfect one for a video. And I will walk us through how to follow the steps to solve a system of three equations, the answer form, which I have a whole video on how to do that with, I believe I must have done different problems than this particular one. So I'm actually going to use those same steps to solve this system. And I want just to point out to you that it's okay if you come up with a different way of doing it. In other words, you don't always have to eliminate z first. You don't have to always then eliminate y. You can do any variable you want. The idea is that you pick the one that seems the easiest to eliminate first, and then the next one, and then once you've been able to solve for one of them, you work your way backwards until all of them are unlocked. So the reason that I made this printable with this system is just so that students who are first time learning how to solve a system of three equations and three variables will not have to come up with their own strategy when they're first beginning. But the idea is that it'll eventually, hopefully, you'll start to try your own solutions and find out that, hey, if I did it this other way instead, I would have much fewer or many fewer steps. So my encouragement to you is try each system, solving it different ways to see what kind of different ideas you can come up with so that you start to gain that intuition for how to be the most efficient with solving these things. But like I said, I'm going to follow this set of steps. First of all, visualizing the answer. I know I want an ordered triplet, XYZ pair, XYZ triplet. Then, to get started, I'm going to get rid of one of the variables. I'll start with z. And the way that I'll do that is using pairs of the three equations I have to make fourth and fifth equations, which will be a system of two equations in two variables, excuse me. And then I will use that to eliminate again, so I'm down to one missing piece. Once you have only one unknown, it's easy to solve for. So let's get started. It's much easier when you can see all the steps instead of me just talking. All right, so first thing is first, I'm going to create equation 4. Two variables is my goal instead of 3. So I'm going to use equation 1 and equation 2. When I use equation 1 with equation 2 to eliminate z, I'm going to need a -2 right here. That means I'm going to have to multiply equation 1 by -2 in order to add them together and eliminate z. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -2, and then I'm just going to write down equation 2 as is. Then I'll add them, and that'll be my fourth equation. So first, multiplying the top by -2, I get -2x minus 2y minus 2z equals +8. Then copying down the second equation, I get 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals -17. Then I will add those together, and when I do, I'll have equation 4. Alright, so the x's cancel out to 0x, and then I have 3y, and oh, look, the z's cancel out as well. It's a funny looking 2, but it is a 2. And so -2z plus 2z gives me 0z. So I'm not having any z's. And even though my goal was 2 variables, I got a bonus. I got down to 1 variable all in one step. Usually it takes me a lot more steps to get to where I have just 1 variable. So that is actually a great thing. And I know it threw some students off. It eliminated both. What's going on here? That's actually a good thing, because now I have y equals -3. So one of my 3 variables, blah, 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 one of the 3 variables in my triplet has been unlocked already. Actually, I don't need to write it up here. I have a little place I can write it right in here, -3. So now I just need to find x and z to get the full solution to this problem. All right, now for equation 5, this time I'm going to still eliminate z, and I can use equation 1 with equation 3, or I could use equation 2 with equation 3. Equation 3 has not been in play yet, so I know that I want to use equation 3 with one of the other two equations, and it looks to me like it's going to be easiest to eliminate z if I use equation 1 with equation 3. So I'll do that. So equation 1 and equation 3. All right, so equation 1 has a +1 on z, and equation 3 has a -3. So for these to be added together and eliminate z, I'm going to need to multiply equation 1 through by +3. So I'll do that. I'm multiplying this by 3. So I get 3x plus 3y plus 3z equals -12. And then just copying down equation 3, -x plus 7y minus 3z equals -10. Adding those together, I get my equation 5. And so I get 2x plus 10y, the z's cancel to 0, and I get -22 there. Okay, from here, let's look back at the guide. The guide said, after step 2, when we eliminate z and come up with equations 4 and 5, we go on to step 3, which is to eliminate one of the 2 remaining variables, say y. Thing is, y has already been solved for, so we actually get to skip this step and just start back substituting. And what we can do is back substitute until we can solve for another variable. So let me show you what I mean. So my original equations up here, I'm just going to start by writing a new system of 3 equations using equation 4, equation 5, and then one other of my originals. I will use the top one since it's the most simple one. So now I have a new system of equations, x plus y plus z equals -4, have to check. And then I have y equals -3, and equation 5, 2x plus 10y equals -22. Now, off to the side here, I'm just going to do some solving and math figuring, and I will continue writing my system nice and clean and neat every time I change it or modify it on this side. So on this side, I'm just going to show the steps to get to my next system. All right, so first of all, I'm going to take equation 1 and I'm going to plug in -3 where the y is, and do that also on equation 5. Okay, and then I'll do the figuring over here. So I'm just going to take equation 1 here, the top equation, and solve it or simplify it. So I have x minus, I meant to say minus, not plus, x minus 3 plus z equals -4. If I add 3 to both sides, then I have x plus z equals -1. Right? So in my next step, I will write the top equation as x plus z equals -1. Right? Then I'm also going to rewrite y equals -3. That's easy. And then for this equation here, I'm going to solve it for x. Notice that the only unknown now in this equation is x, so it's very easy for me to isolate x, and then I will have the second, a second of the three values unlocked. So let me do that over here. 2x plus 10 times negative 3 equals negative 22. Simplifying, negative 30. So I have 2x minus 30 equals negative 22. Then I'm going to add 30 to each side. And then divide both sides by 2. So that's 2 over 2 equals 1. 1 times x is just x, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now I have x equals 4, which in my next step, I can replace the x in the top equation here with 4. Rewriting my other two equations. And obviously it's very easy to solve for z now. Just subtract 4 from each side. So then I have z equals negative 5, y equals negative 3, and x equals 4. So my solution set in set brackets has just one solution in it, one ordered pair, one triplet with x, y, z. They have to be in the right order. 4, negative 3, negative 5. So that is my solution set, right? So this actually worked out so nicely because we got lucky with that first step. We were able to actually uncover one of our values right off the bat, which doesn't always happen. Just a nice feature of this particular example. Now, I'm going to go on and show you how to check your answer, and I strongly urge you to do this before entering your answers into the electronic homework system. It's so tempting to just go back to the problem, type in your answers, and press enter to see if you are right. However, you're bound to make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and every time you do that and you get an incorrect, it's going to deflate you a little bit. Even if it doesn't seem like it's making a big impact, it really does. And then when you get on the test, you're going to have this anxiety, the added pressure of the time, and all the stakes that are attached to it is going to cause you to be less able to answer questions that you might have been able to answer if you were at home just studying. So it is absolutely crucial that you get into the habit of checking your answers yourself before entering them into the homework system to check to see if they're correct. That way, when you have been checking your answers and you go and put it in and you get that confirmation back, it builds that confidence, and you will be in a position to do the work on the test in a much more confident and calm, relaxed manner. So if you follow my advice, I promise it'll work. If you don't, chances are it doesn't even matter how much practice you do, you might not be in a position to be able to perform under pressure. All right, so let me show you how to check the answer. It does take some extra time, but it is so worth it, and it doesn't take all that long. So let me show you. So the solution set was 4 comma negative 3 comma negative 5, and we're going to go ahead and plug those values into each of the three equations and make sure we get true every single time. Okay, so I'm going to do, I'll just do it right here. So I have 4 minus 3 minus 5 equals negative 4. Then I'll have 2 times 4 plus 5 times negative 3 plus 2 times negative 5 equals negative 17. Then I'll have negative 4 plus 7 times negative 3 minus 3z. Oops, I meant to put in a negative 5 instead of the z. negative 5 equals negative 10. All right, so we'll just one by one confirm that each of these is actually a true statement. And they all have to be true. If you have even just one that's not true, then you got to check your work, see if you made a mistake somewhere. And unfortunately, sometimes your mistake could actually be in the work that you are doing to check your answer, which can be a little frustrating. But, um, it's always six of one, half a dozen of another, right? All right, so we do 4 minus, I'm looking at the top equation now. I'm just going to simplify the left side. So it's 4 minus 3 would be positive 1. 1 minus 5 would be negative 4. So for the first equation, so far so good. And then the next one, I'm going to simplify 8 minus 15. Something's up with my electronic pen. Let me try that again. 8 minus 15 minus 10 equals negative 17. And I'm just going to write another line here. I already got negative 4 equals negative 4. And then simplifying this again, that's 8 minus 15 is negative 7. Negative 7 minus 10 is negative 17. Okay, good and good. All right, and then the last one, I have negative 4 minus 21 plus 15, and all that's supposed to add up to negative 10. So simplifying right here, I have negative 4 minus 21, that is negative 25. And negative 25 plus 15 will give me negative 10. Okay,